Peace, love, and blessings, everybody. My name is BRIMA Camara. Today I will be going over some... I had a couple of people ask me a bunch of questions regarding entrepreneurship, how to gain capital, how to get financially ahead, and I want to share that information with you guys. I didn't quite script this whole thing. This is Thursday night when I first started shooting the first segment of this. Just to give you guys an introduction, what will be going on in this webinar slash video slash one video course. So if you guys happen to notice that I'm wearing different clothes or in a different position during this video, because I started shooting this video, it's gonna take like an hour to shoot. I'm doing PowerPoint presentations and screenshots in this video. It's also gonna take me like 2, maybe 3 hours to edit fully and then distribute like that. So just be mindful. I'm trying to make it as easy, accessible, and comprehensive for people to understand what I'm getting to in this video and stuff that you should start looking forward to. A few days ago, somebody had asked me about why haven't I shared some information regarding some Black history. I usually like to post a lot of things on social media, or at least I have in the past, about Black history, this and that. I haven't done so much this year, and he inquired about that. I was like, I'm gonna try to drop some knowledge and some economic knowledge when I can. A little bit of background on myself. A lot of people may know me either because you grew up with me, you're a family member, you've been a long-time friend. You may also know me through the fight world. I am a professional fighter. You may have seen me fight on UFC Fight Pass. I own a kickboxing gym. I'm the head coach at Jack's Kickboxing Gym located in North Delaware. I also own B-Bar located in Hockessin. I also manage and own some small other businesses in between the two. We'll be expanding also in the future. I do a variety of things. I'm a comic book nerd. I do YouTube. People know me through different kind of titles, Brimes, this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, so this video is going to be called The Black Financial Struggle and How to Financially Get Ahead, or some strategies that you can implement in your own life to get ahead. Your family and your friends and loved ones can all use these strategies to help create some additional wealth and liquid assets to help improve the reality around yourself. 90% of the problems that plague the Black community can be solved by financial means and financial literacy. So a lot of times the Black community, they will complain about certain situations that are plaguing us. But long story short, a lot of those things that could be plaguing the Black community can literally be fixed by through finances and financial literacy. Like even in your own personal life, like 90% of the problems that we do have, like as human beings or people living in a first world country such as the United States, 90% of our problems can disappear. Like if you wipe money over it, like if you have tuition payments due, if you have car maintenance, holiday shopping, mortgage, rent payments, any kind of problems you have in your life can somehow be attributed to wealth or finances or something of that nature, and maybe have some personal issues that for example money cannot fix. But long story short, money can if you wipe it over, then it can normally solve a lot of your problems. What else? I mean, it's also important for regardless if you're Black or not, each one to teach one to help your fellow man just come up. Don't be like crabs in the barrel. Teach them how they can get ahead, how they come up, how they can help improve their station in life. I mean, me, I'm not rich, so I don't think I am. But I do have rich mentors that teach me, and they're very kind, they're very generous. One took me out to lunch the other day. He's a millionaire. He owns most of the property in Rising Sun. And he takes a lot of time to help coach me, make sure I'm going the right path. One of my other mentors, Chris Kenny, owns a lot of ShopRights in Delaware. Takes time to make sure I'm heading things right and doing things. Take time out of their day, their personal busy lives, and they handle a whole big deals and big business litigations and stuff like that. And logistics, they handle a lot of big important corporate stuff and helping a young entrepreneur like myself, like, you know, succeed in my endeavors and stuff like that. I really appreciate that they can share light on that with me, and I like to help share some of the things that I learned, whether it's small or not, with you. I won't be able to go over I won't be able to, this video is not going to necessarily bring you into financial freedom. I mean, it can probably open your mind, expand your thoughts, help you, you know, find your own way, help, you know, again, like, you know, do the research. Anything that I tell you guys to do, like in this video, don't just take my word for it. I'm a very honest person, but also make sure you do the research on it yourself. You know, the research, it can be found if you take the ability, the initiative to like research the stuff that I've been telling you. You know, you can verify anything that I say in this video. I will be providing resources that you guys can look up. Again, you guys don't have to buy or purchase anything through the video, but I will have some resources you guys can buy, some books that I strongly suggest that you read. The first one I have you guys would like to read, there's a series called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. His books are focused on, you know, a lot on financial wealth and financial freedom and stuff like that. His first book, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which rich families tell their children, what poor families don't. I highly suggest that you guys read that book, especially black people. Read that book is very important. I think it can help like really change like how you think about a lot of things personally. His other books, like, you know, the Cash Flow Quadrant. I have links to that below. Why the Rich Are Getting Richer. There's other books, for example, by Tony Robbins, Unshakable, things like that. You guys can start off. There's plenty of books that you guys can read from the research. You guys don't have to read these books, but I do strongly recommend it. These things are awesome. I think it's very important that you guys try to learn something every day. Like, you know, one of the best advice I got from watching one of the guys like to research a lot, Ty Lopez. He said that one of his mentors read a book every day. That's why I like to read a book every day, and that's what I do. Like, I love to read a book or listen to an audio book every single day, and I think it's just very, very helpful, and it really gives you an edge, and it can really help give you a lot of different perspectives than you had before, the day before. It just kind of help you grow as a person on a daily basis. So again, I have the links below. You don't have to read it, but I strongly suggest that you want to have a full comprehension on this video, that you do actually look at these books and check them out, and you know, hopefully it'll better your financial situation. And also, again, a disclaimer, like, you know, I'm not rich. If you're watching this video, I'm probably poorer than you are, to be honest with you. One of the things that you can actually do to increase your financial, to, like, you know, raise that additional $2,000 to $10,000 or more, depending on your financial situation, is having multiple bank accounts. You know, most banks out there, at least during some part of the year, even federal credit unions will offer a sign-up bonuses. So you have like your big banks, like, you know, your Wells Fargo's, your Chases, your PNCs, your Bank of America, of course. They usually year-round offer some type of sign-up bonuses. Even your federal credit unions or local credit unions. What the difference between what you would call a bank and a credit union is kind of like what you would call like almost like a college and a university. A bank is kind of like, you know, a national, like, widespread bank, and then you have like your federal credit unions, which are like localized. They're usually like only statewide or a couple statewide at the maximum. But I mean, overall, it's the same bit. Like, they're financial institutions, you know, college and universities. They're educational institutions. So, like, for example, Wells Fargo was the very first bank that I had since I was like 18 years old, almost 10 years. Like, even right now, they're doing like a $200 sign-up bonus if you set up a direct deposit right now or meet certain requirements. Keep in mind that some of this, you know, this money that you do get from the bank, it is, you'll be liable to pay taxes on this. There's ways to, quote unquote, mitigate the tax or avoid the tax, especially if you like have self-employment income, you mix it with regular employed income. There is a book called Tax-Free Wealth, written by one of Robert Kiyosaki's advisors. You want to read that. It'll help explain some things regarding that. I'll try to get into that a little more in this video, how that will work if you're self-employed and you have an actual full-time job or any kind of mixture of the two. One of the things that could also really help with the sign-up bonuses, or again, these $2,000 and $10,000 extra dollars, is family. Family is really important. Generational wealth or family wealth. It's not always sometimes one person that actually generates the wealth. Sometimes it's a lot of times it's a team. It can be really hard to get your whole family on the same page on generating wealth. And even my close family members of mine, sometimes I gotta beat them with a stick. Put them in a chokehold just to drag them to the bank. Yo, let's get this extra money. It's really simple. They complain. One day they'll complain, can I borrow $200? I need $200 for this. I'm like, get it yourself. It's that simple. And then it's sometimes have a kind of backwards way of thinking. Marriage, at least from my personal views, I want to get very unsecular in this discussion, but I do have traditional views of it on marriage. Marriage is, to me, it's always been like a holy union, and then after that it's been like a financial union of it, way to gain wealth or protect wealth and ensure wealth, amongst families and control land, stuff like that. If you're married, it's very easy, or you have a significant other or something like that, it's really easy to come up on not only at least $2,000 to $10,000 individually, but also maybe double that together, maybe triple it together actually. Use some of these strategies I'm going to go over today. So especially marriage in the Black community is needed, to ensure and protect the family structure. A lot of people say it's 2019, dating is hard, marriage is hard. It's kind of fun in a society where we're advancing so much in technology and in science and in business, and then we're supposed to accept by some notion that marriage and family are supposed to digress and shift backwards, and we're advancing in other directions. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's not plausible. So we got direct deposits and sign-up bonuses. So again, I talked about, for example, Wells Fargo doing one with a $200 sign-up bonus. I'm actually gonna forego Wells Fargo right now. Hope you see what I did there. Let's talk about Chase, for example. Chase is one of the banks that you jump on first. Not only for that, but also credit. I'm going to credit later on in this video. Actually, Chase offers several sign-up bonuses right now, but there's one particularly for this total checking that's like $200. Now I'm going to show screenshots, for example, my own finances even. But all you gotta do is set up a direct deposit with Chase, and then within up to 9 days later, they will actually deposit an additional $200 of liquid into your account. For me, actually, I did a direct deposit of $20. I can't remember what it was. What the job I did. It was a self-employed job for a company called Market Force. I might have a link to that below if you guys want to actually do that kind of those kind of jobs. I just did an easy, I don't know, maybe 15-minute job or something like that, and then they deposited them. I set up direct deposit on the website. It deposited the money into the Chase account, and then a week or so after that, it was $200 extra inside my Chase account. And who doesn't like basically almost free money in that case? So let's say even if you don't have self-employment income, you have a job that doesn't necessarily give you a check, they do direct deposit. Hypothetically, if you get paid on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, every 2 weeks, you can keep rotating that direct deposit among several banks. So right now, you can even pause this video. I want you to write down 10 to 15 banks that you know of. It could be 10 to 15 banks or credit unions, and look them up, and I guarantee you at least 90% of them will have sign-up bonuses ranging from $150 to $300, maybe $500, depending on how much money you can deposit. If you're really making some serious bread, you're a high-end nurse or a lawyer or doctor or something, and you don't use this, you can easily get a lot of extra money by doing this very simple strategy right here. Let's pretend for a second. Okay, you have a job, no matter what it is. I don't know what's. You're a receptionist, or you're some kind of consultant. You get paid. You're some kind of consultant, and you get paid some kind of direct deposit. So your employer, hypothetically, you could just keep every 2 weeks or 1 week. You just keep changing your direct deposit from one bank to another bank. If you're worried about keeping track of all your banks, it's very simple. You can download all the bank apps on your phone. Like I can't think of like any bank on your phone. Any bank doesn't have an app you can't get on your phone. And you know, you just do like a fingerprint login or like a passcode login. You can check all your finances. You just you can connect these banks together, and easy transfer like funds. So like if you want to financially get ahead, you can't skip that point without becoming financially literate. Like a lot of people want to go to heaven, they want to die. Like people want to get in shape, look healthy, look sexy, they don't work out. Like you have to, in order for this to work, you got to become more financially literate. I had a discussion with my little brother like today. He's like trying to do the same thing, and I'm like, bro, like you gotta pick a side. You can't just expect this to work without like becoming like more financially literate. That's why I actually got to read these books, check these resources. One small favor I will like ask you guys to. I have links to this below. If you really care about the black community or the improvement of the black financial situation across the board, put money into a black bank. If you go to the city of Philadelphia, for example, there's more Chinese banks and Asian banks in the city of Philadelphia than there are black banks in the entirety of the United States of America. So, if you make like this $2,000 or make $10,000, at least put like $200 of this money that you're gonna get from all these sign-on bonuses. It can be 50, whatever you can afford to spare. Put this into like a black bank. For example, there's one bank called One United Bank, which is the largest black bank in the United States today. There's a link below. You can click that, you can sign up. You can just put that money into a savings account. That's gonna allow like some more. That's gonna help create opportunity for more black people in the future. At that bank grows, they can offer like more credit lines, more like auto loans, mortgage loans, stuff like that to help improve the financial situation of black people in the United States. Even if you're not black, and you care about black people or the improvement of black people or the certain injustices that are happening towards black people, instead of like protesting and stuff, put money into a black bank, and that will really give people the necessary firepower, not guns, not so much as soldiers to fight against the powers that be, but the actual wealth that needs to improve the realities and provide the opportunity for black people to pursue their goals in the United States today. To better that, for example, you're like one of those social warriors that who's not black and protest with the sign Black Lives Matter, this and another thing. Like that's fine, that's okay. It doesn't really help that much. I mean, yeah, you're complaining, but if you're complaining to people that have the power and the wealth to like apparently give that wealth to black people. How about you? If you want to really help black people, like succeed, you gotta like allow these black people to actually attain that wealth, and you can help contribute to that. That's better than to go up there with your sign and with your the Black Lives Matter sign, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, you make the sign and you can complain that Black Lives Matter, the police brutality and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, black people still gonna be poor, and and black people still poor after all the protesting and complaining that you did. Then you really didn't help anything. I also want to explain the difference between a W-2 and a 1099. So a W-2 essentially is it's an employee income. You're an employee. You work for somebody else on their terms. You clock in normally. That means your employer pays your taxes, especially if you're doing W-2s. I mean, sometimes you can have a W-2 and like a check. Like for example, when I was delivering pizzas, I was a W-2 employee, but I was receiving a check. I didn't get a direct deposit from my employer. So self-employed is 1099. That means you're responsible for paying your own taxes. You can also write off all the taxes through business expense. You usually work on your own terms. You can usually schedule your own hours or work for however you want. You can have as many self-employment, ventures as you please, essentially, because you control those hours, you control what you do, you normally when and how often you work. And you can, for example, have one self-employment source of income. It could be something that you start your own. You work for like a company like Uber or, for example, Market Force, or it could be something like life insurance, for example. If it's not salary, then they pay you like 1099 commission. I prefer 1099 source of income as opposed to W-2 because, like for example, if you work in W-2, you can be like a cashier or something like that, and or whatever. Let's say at a fast food place, you can do a terrible job at your job, like 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. You can just be a crappy employee, but you'll get paid the same. If you're 1099, you know, usually it's a results-based business, so you basically gotta earn yourself. Like you can be a crappy, you know, self-employed individual, and therefore it will pretty much always reflect on your paycheck. And you can work 7 hours and you do an average job, and you get paid maybe the same as somebody that worked W-2 as for a regular employment job. Or you can be a rock star as a 1099. You can essentially make in 1 hour, or take somebody that working 7 hours doing an employment job, or somebody doing the same self-employment job. It might take them 7 hours to do that specific task or job. You can do that maybe in 1 hour and make the same amount of money because you're a rock star doing that particular job. A lot of people like the regular employment job because it offers like security, sometimes it offers benefits and stuff like that. Self-employment job, you gotta do it yourself, and it's really important for, you know, black people or people from a poor demographic to kind of take that initiative and really step out and be kind of aggressive with controlling their own finances and income. Now there are different levels to, you know, employment and self-employment income. I mean, there's great, you know, of course, like high-paying jobs that require, you know, massive skill, like, you know, high-level engineering jobs. You know, for example, like, you know, aerospace, like engineering and design, for example. You could be a doctor, a brain surgeon. You know, you're a very high-paid employee as opposed to somebody that's self-employed. So I mean, there's different things and different spectrums. You know, business owners. And that's where it gets kind of more complicated, because depending on how you incorporate yourself, or what kind of how many businesses you own, or if you do decide to pay yourself from your business, it can all depend. But that's not really what this subject is about. Like, if you guys are interested in learning those kind of things, again, I can go over that in future videos, but it's not here. Just to give you guys an idea what you guys can do. If you are interested in becoming an entrepreneur, there's so much you can do. You can, like, you know, apply for links like, you know, for example, Uber, DoorDash, Postmates, Lyft. There's stuff I even do to this day to make those extra additional income. As a business owner, sometimes it's like they would consider like the lazy way out of making money. But like I do those kind of things just to get like easy sign-up bonuses at the banks, you know, additional $20 here and there. You know, I easy sign up at like a couple banks. I make like a couple new bank accounts like pretty much every single week of my life. So you just keep churning it and churning it and churning it and churning it in that kind of fashion. I have links to that. You guys are interested in doing that. It's pretty awesome because you can work at your own prerogative, your own time. You also want to be efficient at it. Those links will be along in the description that you guys can actually, you know, sign up on those accounts. You get like a bonus for signing up. You know, I'll also get a bonus, and then like, you know, you can help. You can have your regular job, and you can do these things on the side, and just, you know, speed up the process of getting the, you know, the $2,000 or up to $10,000, depending on how much money you make or be able to generate, or which kind of sign-up bonus that you actually apply for. You know, I've talked to a lot of people. You know, most people that you will talk to, at least some people that I know personally, say like they'll rather start their own business or do their own thing and, you know, work on their own terms. But you know, it's just there's two or three major barriers. Of course, the first one is like, you know, learning how to do that. Maybe they have like an idea, or they want to learn a specific you know, self-employed profession, and they don't know like where to start or how to learn or to allocate the time to do so, or the proper sources to actually teach you. A self-sufficient, self-employed entrepreneur. There's several courses that I recommend. I'll have links, of course, below. Whether you want to be a videographer, whether you want to be better at sales, whether you want to be a digital marketer, whether you want to be a social media, like, you know, agency, that kind of stuff, graphic design. I probably said sales already. There's, you know, plenty of things that you could possibly do. You may want to maybe like be a videographer or a video editor or something like that, or you're a writer or a blog or something. You gotta be able to take an inventory of skills, which you could have. It could be music, it can be fitness, it can be design, it can be consulting, sales, something. You gotta be able to take an inventory of skills and say, okay, this is what I want to do in my life. This is what I would enjoy doing so much that you know, that I would rather wake up and do this every day as opposed to, like, you know, working for somebody else every day. And take an inventory of skills and see what you want to do. You can just look up, okay, like who's hiring that kind of field. There's one good website I can show you guys some links to. Upwork, for example, if you want to do design or write or do reviews. I use this website to get hired before. Upwork, there's Fiverr. You know, they offer a lot of graphic design people, you know, to do certain jobs. So it's a good place to, if you want to be self-employed, you just got to be able to do the research and look. You know, I told you guys earlier in the beginning of this video, if you want anything that I do say, you got, you know, verify it, research, do the research your own self. You know, seek this knowledge. I can't, like, if I would explain like everything in fine detail in this video, it would take hours and hours. Like, it would literally be like, you know, a multi-college course. It would be like, you know, a finance 101, 102, 103. And I have to like bring up like over days and hours, you know, just every single like aspect of this. I'm trying to give you guys the broad view here. And even with the broad view, you can still apply to get like these sign-up bonuses like I'm talking about. But like $2,000 and $10,000 is not going to bring you like financial freedom in the United States. It just won't. If all you made this year was $10,000, you are in poverty. That's not going to. I mean, it definitely can raise you up in a different tax bracket. It can change with it. It can make a break the difference between you living in poverty or not. But if you only make $10,000 this year as an American citizen, you are living in poverty. So $10,000 cannot bring you financial freedom. It won't make you rich. It won't be enough money to save going into next year. I mean, I don't know anybody that can live off of $10,000 as an American citizen today, even as like one person. Maybe have roommates or something, I don't know, but it's still like you know, for me, this is just how to get like some additional funds within like, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, like I said. Then like not, and then the results may vary. Some of you guys probably make less than $2,000. Some of you guys make more than $10,000, depending on what your assets or income or employment may be. And in regards to what you do, what kind of professions you have, is also good to learn, like, you know, the simple tools like, you know, digital marketing, you know, a little bit of sales, a little bit of design, or at least how to outsource it to get you on your way. Because there's a lot of things that like you don't know that can actually help you, you know, reach different plateaus, like how to get like how to grow yourself as an entrepreneur and as a business. I will have like these links, you know, just to help you learn. You don't have to, and I find these courses far more effective than pretty much anything that I personally ever took in school. Outside of maybe AutoCAD, you know, because they have to teach like, you know, practical skills, whether it be, you know, video design or whatever, or how to sell like shirts or products online. Like, these things are like, you know, practical stuff to get you going, and like you're not gonna be able to take one of these courses and turn into being overnight. But as long as you're diligent, you will be able to implement these practices and, you know, God willing, whatever, make money or grow your business or grow your awareness or whatever it is that you are trying to do. And of course, the second one is the money barrier. You know, people want to like go off on their own, but, you know, they have a job, or, you know, they can't really afford to take off of work, or to maybe lose their job so they can actually go out on their own. You know, maybe they have families to care of, you know, kids, and it's kind of hard to go off and do things that they want to do. So they have to, you know, work. You know, they may work 2 full-time jobs. You know, and I understand it can be a hard struggle to do that. You know, because you may be involved in several different things. There's a time, of course, like where, you know, was working. I mean, I'm always working a whole bunch of jobs, even now, or it's self-employed, just because. But even before I had owning businesses, you know, delivering pizzas, I was, you know, doing personal training. I was Uber is one, working for movie theater. Sometimes like I work like several jobs like in one day. It'll be like a 12 to sometimes 15, 18-hour day. I would work, and I would grind it out just in that kind of fashion. So yes, these sign-up bonuses would actually be able to provide you with these funds, you know, in a few weeks or a month or a couple months, whatever, that will allow you to either, like, you know, take off work to pursue the education that you will need to do in order to, you know, become a self-sufficient entrepreneur. To either help you afford these classes that will allow you to help, you know, teach the entrepreneurial skills, to help, you know, to save on, you know, vacations or whatever that you want to, you know, to help save or to invest, or to make the down payments on stuff that you have to make. That's one of these things that these sign-up bonuses actually help you provide for, you know, anybody. Yeah, this is something you definitely want to, like, you know, look into. And I know people that like they like to do like cash payments, and like you want to kind of go away from payments. In fact, if you're doing personal training, like, guys, please look into this. Like, you know, set up get a business bank account, like apply for either a sole proprietorship or get a start an LLC. And when you get the sole proprietorship or LLC, you know, when you open up a business bank account, make sure you use merchant services. That way, like, your clients actually pay you electronically. So, like, if you need a direct deposit into your business bank account, that direct deposit comes from your actual clients. So, like, if you have like a job, or if you have like a regular W-2 job where you're a regular employee and you get paid direct deposit, and then you can be like a self-employed individual who works for a company as a contractor, and they do a direct deposit, or you have your own business, and the money, the receivables that you get from your business will count as a direct deposit for your business bank account, and you get sign-up bonuses that way. And from there, you also apply for, you know, multiple business cards, credit cards, that kind of stuff, and reap the rewards in that kind of fashion. That'll help get you on the way to help you fulfill your long-term, like, you know, career goals and your financial goals. As a matter of fact, I will also have the link below. One of the banks that I mentioned earlier, I think, was, you know, Santader Bank. You know, they do really good sign-up bonuses for, you know, a Clover POS system. A POS system is a point-of-sale system, which is like you have, like, for example, an app on your phone, or like a small, like, you know, tablet, or like one of those tablets you see at cash registers nowadays, instead of like the old, like, arcade kinds, where like people can swipe their cards and make payments on those, and it keeps track of that. Those are some of the things I highly recommend. And I have links and, like, you know, resources for all that kind of stuff you guys can look into, like, in the links and stuff below. And, you know, feel free to contact me if you have any questions on, like, setting those kind of things up, that I can, like, kind of point you in the right direction. Now, a lot of times to get those kind of merchant services products, they will run your credit, because they want to make sure that you will be able to, in case, like, there's some kind of, like, major, like, chargeback or something like that on the merchant services, like, you'll be able to, like, you know, cover, like, with your own, like, funds outside of the business and stuff like that. But hopefully that'll never happen to any of you guys. I pray that it does not. So doubling back to, you know, for example, you have like a spouse or significant other, and you guys both have direct deposits, for example, you guys can, for example, for the sign-up bonuses that require much heavier sign-up bonuses, say like the Huntington Bank sign-up bonuses, you guys can, like, literally set up direct deposits to make a joint account to, like, a single direct deposit. You guys can literally become a joint, like, applicants on one account, or joint owners on one, like, specific bank account, and have your direct deposit go into that one bank account. And within, like, the time period of usually 60 to 90 days that they give you the direct deposit that money, you guys will be able to deposit the money to get that, to meet the criteria to make that to get that sign-up bonus, essentially. If you guys again are both employed or have several sources of supplementary income on the side, you guys can, like, you know, divide and conquer. That's one good thing. Like, so you guys also want to have joint accounts, of course, but you also want to have, especially if you're married, and then you also want to have separate accounts. So you don't want to just have, like, just all joint accounts. You want to have joint and separate accounts, especially if you're married. So if you're married, like, this is how you guys will move the fastest with this. If you're really smart and meticulous how you guys do this, then, like, if you guys, within 8 weeks, like, this is how you guys will be able to reach the 10,000 grand, maybe 20 grand faster of legitimate income. Say you guys individually both, let's say, were to sign up for, like, a Bank of America account and get, like, that, you guys were targeted for the $300 offer individually. You guys could co-app on both, even. You guys can become joint applicants on both accounts, meet each other's requirement, and then you get, like, $600 one week. And then you do that across, like, you know, if you have 5 sources of employment income, then, like, if you would do similar sign-up bonuses within 2 weeks, it was 6 times 5, that's going to be $3,000. So, you know, you turn that $6,000, what's, you said, like, an 8-week period, so 6 times 4, that is $24,000 essentially that you can possibly make in a week. There's plenty of banks out there, Capital One, Charles Schwab. Also this thing we're gonna talk about. When you do guys sign up for, you know, different banks, you know, there will be some people that won't be able to sign up for certain banks because of several reasons. Banks normally do a soft credit pull for applying for, when you apply for opening a new bank account. So Not many banks do like hard credit pulls. Mainly like banks like Charles Schwab and higher ups like that, like rich people banks, whatever. It's a system that does reward rich people, as you can see with the sign-up bonuses. The more money you make, the more money the bank's gonna give you. They will check like if you have debt with other banks. If you have debts with other banks, you probably be able to open up other banks and until you pay off that debt. If you don't have good employment history, you won't probably be able to open up more banks, because like a lot of banks only have like good, secure like employment history for like at least a year or so, if not a bunch of years, like without like lapses, in order for you like to get like new bank accounts. If you have bad credit, if you like miss a lot of payments, if you have like a lot of like, credit card debt or defaults or delinquencies, stuff like that, then that'll probably stop you from getting like additional bank accounts. But if you have good credit, great credit, then boom. Just because you don't have bad credit now means you can't apply these same strategies down the line. So like you can clean your credit within a month, a few weeks, 6 months, whatever long it takes. It's important, so get it done. You don't know wait later. You want to do this like start moving towards this like now. You can get your credit all fixed up. There's ways you can like write letters and get like stuff removed, derogatory stuff moved from your account, and help get these accounts approved. If you get denied for an account, you can like write a letter of goodwill and get it approved. Yada yada yada. Start opening things up and put things into motion. So you gotta start somewhere, and then so it all depends like where exactly that you like on the spectrum. And then like credit's also another beast, how you can get an additional like fluid. So a lot of credit cards out there do offer like pretty handsome sign-up bonuses. For example, there's a popular card, one of those popular cards I guess in the United States right now is called the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. You want to get these kind of Chase cards first, number one, before I go into these credit details further. There is a rule called the Chase 5 and 24 rule, which means like if you apply for like 2 personal cards in the last 5 personal cards in the last 2 months, then you won't be able to get an additional Chase card. Now if you have business cards, that's different. Business cards don't really count towards your credit. When your personal credit, they have, like, if you have a business, it has its own social security, it has its own credit, so it won't count towards your personal credit. I'm saying a lot. Just know exactly where you stand on that. Try to get the Chase cards first. Do the research on how to actually get those first. They typically do require have good credit. But for example, the Chase Sapphire Preferred card or Reserve card, if you spend like $4,000 in like the next 3 months, they give you an additional 50,000 points, which is equivalent to like either like $700 in like travel or $500 of like actual cash. Now, if you have like expenses, normal expenses that you would just swipe, your card like a debit card, you can easily meet that $4,000 limit like quickly. I did it like in, because of the kind of life I have, I was able to just, pay like a mortgage payment with the card, and get like that $4,000 like limit, like meets like, then like, 2 weeks or something like that. You can use a website called Plastic, which will allow you to pay like your utility bills and stuff like that with like your credit cards. You can pay, a lot of your cell phone bills with your credit card. You can pay your car note with your credit card online. It may cost you like extra 2-3%, but if you're getting $500 back, it'll be worth more than 2-3%. Like even if your car payment's like on the high end, let's say it's like $500, $800, or you pay up against the principal on your car, it's still gonna be worth like that additional $500 of points that you will save by using your card these credit cards to like pay for that, and then like if you don't want to use credit, well, I guess the money that you don't have. Let's say like if you have a debit card and you use your debit card like you normally would, so you can pay your credit card on a daily basis. Like if you swipe the card, you can pay like the balance off, or even above the balance sometimes, like the very next day. You can have like a positive balance or negative balance, however you want to call it, on your credit card. You can like pay, say you spend like $20, you can take $1,000 out of your checking and put it on to like that credit card and just have like that balance of negative or a positive, however you look at it, like $980 on that card that you can just use to spend and swipe. that's when you can do it, just to keep control your money in that kind of sense. So again, like, you guys have to be jumping back and forth because like I might have stumbled or said something maybe not in the best kind of manner, and I'm going back and forth that way you guys can kind of understand the subject matter in this webinar. Don't be afraid to leave like comments below as you guys see things going on in this video. DM me, we can talk more. I'm a very busy guy, but if I can help you guys out. Again, credit definitely rewards the rich. Like every rich person in the United States knows how to leverage their credit cards, like for free travel, for sign-up bonuses, for buying exotic stuff like cars. I'm gonna have some links below, like how you can, like if you have even a modest income, how you can learn to travel for free using these credit cards. Like it's pretty. Like I'm not a big travel guy, but if I wanted to travel for free, then like I could travel for free and it'd be awesome. I'm not trying to say that to brag, but because of how like I leverage my credit, it would just allow me to basically travel. But I own businesses. I could anything that I would like to do and elsewhere across the world besides for example religious go to Hajj or visit my family up in the home country in Sierra Leone. I could do literally here in Delaware. So there's not. I still will travel, but there's things anything that I will do that will probably make me feel happy, I could do right here at home. But if you like buying exotic things or a house or cars, exotic cars, I have a link down for that you can use. I covered the gist of most things. Again, guys, I really hope you guys get a lot of benefit from this video. I hope you guys learned a lot. If you have questions, you can let me know. I'm gonna revisit this. This is kind of a rough draft, and I'm just kind of spilling out, practicing here. There's links below of the resources, all the books you guys look, the websites you guys look up, the articles you can look up. There's an article there's a really good website called Doctor of Credit. Doctor of Credit, for example, there's an article right now came out at least from the recording of this video a week ago. There was the 10 best sign-up bonuses of banks for the month of February. You got PNC, Chase is always on there, Bank of America is always on there, Charles Schwab, Wells Fargo. You guys look up these banks. There's literally 10 banks you guys can look up and get sign-up bonuses. Anyway, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the video. I got some kind of knowledge from it. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I have a lot of stuff to do, and need to go on with that. If you guys really did enjoy the content, I'm gonna try to clean it up, make an actual PowerPoint into the actually structured class or course or something like that. You guys can actually look into, and I'll go into more detail. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching it there, or follow King Camara on Facebook, and I will talk to you guys next time.